Now, in that number of calls that you mentioned, is that's the total in town, not just your station?
No, that's basically that's actually Candlewood's calls. Headquarters,
just Candlewood's.
Yeah, because headquarters does different. Well, we basically do the same calls,
Right.
but sometimes they'll do other calls that we don't get. You know, I mean, I carry a pager on my hip. If you go back to the old days, we used to have to listen for the siren. Then we used to have to go to the firehouse, and we used to have a chalkboard, and it would tell us where the call was. Then you'd go from there.
All right.
If the trucks were gone, then you'd go to the call. Now we have the pager, so you can go from your house to the call and not having to worry about that.
Yeah, and I believe at a couple of the Antique Auto Club meetings, I think you've gotten a couple of those calls.
Yes, because I never shut it off, unfortunately. My wife tells me, it's time to shut it off.
Could you tell us, Paul, a little bit about the training for the members?
Well, if you take Firefighter 1 course, which is the state certifying course, it's 160 to 200 hours of training. Firefighter 2 is basically the same thing with another probably 40 hours on top of that. So you're talking 240 hours of classroom and practical training. And then you have to take a proficiency test at the end to make sure that all your training, you're up with the training so that you know you can complete everything. EMT, I think, is 180 to 200 hours also for an emergency medical technician. Now, every Monday night, we have a drill at the firehouse. We do pumping, ladders. We sometimes will go up to the New Milford, to the fire tower up at New Milford, which is behind Kimberly-Clark, down by the river.
Okay.
I don't know if if you've ever gone up Grove Street in New Milford, along the flats there. Before you get into town proper, on the left-hand side across the river, you'll see a large building that looks a little charred. This is, this is good practical training for the guys, because you can go in there with your equipment, and we put dummies in there, and then we fill the place with smoke so thick you can't see your hand in front of your face. And then we send the guys in to rescue the dummy and bring them out. I mean, because, when you get somebody's house on fire, you can't just send the guy in and say, oh, I'll go in and see what you can find and come back out, and then we'll send somebody else in. Just can't do that. And another, another thing is that when we do have a fire call, the guys get their gear on, including their air packs. We have to have another crew with air packs standing by. So if anything happens to the first group, we can send in the second group to get them. So there's quite a bit of, just to get the guys situated, even if it's not a big fire, or even if it's just an investigation. Everybody has to get suited up.
Right.
And you have to have the proper gear. And the proper gear, including boots, coat, helmet, Nomex, hood, air pack, gloves, turnout coat, bunker pants, is probably $2,800 to $3,000 per firefighter.
Really? Wow.
And so it's not years ago, 1965, I think it was, we didn't have a lot of gear at Candlewood. We had a couple of rubber raincoats, a couple of helmets, a couple of size 8 boots that nobody could wear. I got tired of not having boots, so I went out and bought a pair of boots with a steel toe and steel shank underneath so I wouldn't step on a nail. And at that time, they cost $50. Well, $50 then, I think at that time, I was working for the telephone company. I think I was making $92 a week. So $50 for a pair of boots that I paid for. We had to think about it for a while before, and then I had to start putting the money away till I finally got it and bought them. So it's come a long ways with the equipment. And the price of the equipment is unbelievable.
And that's all paid by the fire company. It's not paid for by the town.
Well, that's correct. The town basically pays for maintenance stuff, the heat, the electric, the telephone bill, the maintenance. The main maintenance on the firehouse we take care of. The trucks are purchased by the department through donations, which is something that we send out yearly. Both companies send out pleas for money, and it's been talking of years and years about maybe going to a fire tax, which is good and bad. Most people, as soon as you say tax, nobody wants anything to do about it. But unfortunately, you get to a point where I've gone knocking on doors. I've been doing, like I said, this June will be 49 years with Candlewood. And I've gone knocking on doors for probably 47 years. And I've had people reach in their pocket and pull out pocket change and give me. And I have to bite my tongue because a few things I'd like to say, but I just can't say it. Yeah. And then you have other people who write you out a check for $100. It's just, if we could get everybody to give us roughly the same amount, would be great. Because basically they're buying the equipment. The last truck we bought, engine 22, was $467,000. It's going to take us a few years to pay that one off. I can remember when we used to get a truck for under $100,000. So, everything is, well, look at the price of gas today. I see right over here it's $4.17 a gallon. I'm not coming to Newtown. I'm not coming to Newtown for gas.
and this is April 20th.
Yes.
So we'll see what it is in another month or two. In doing some research, I've learned for the show, I've learned that there are different types of memberships. Can you expand a little?
Well, yes, we have interior firefighters which actually go in and do the fight the fire in the interior. And then we have support firefighters, which are guys, for whatever reason, don't particularly care to go into into the fire scene itself. So they are on the outside, they're humping hose, they're making sure that the area is safe for the other, for the guys. They might be getting the air packs ready, refilling the air packs that need to be done, and whatever else needs to be done on the outside of the scene. And also making sure that, there's nobody there that doesn't belong there.
Now, I live on Longmeadow Hill Road, and I find it curious how the mailboxes are numbered, many times not lining up with the house numbers, and I would imagine that could be a real problem, and particularly at night. Can you expand a little bit on that?
It's funny. I'm glad you brought that up. I have a saying: if your house is on fire with smoke and flames, and you don't have a number, we're going to find you. But if you've fallen down your stairs, cellar stairs, and you're the only one home, and you have a life alert or whatever, and you happen to have your mobile phone with you, and you're calling for help, and we don't know we don't know where you are. We can't tell where you are. There's nothing signaling. I also turn this over to the police department. If they get an emergency, a panic alarm in the middle of the night, how are they supposed to find the house?
Yeah.
It's just...
are there any ordinances that...
well, it just, as you mentioned that, Bruce, there is. I just happen to have something that it's one of my key things that I've been trying to get somebody to listen to me, besides you. It's Chapter 99 in Brookville. I think it's 99, 1 through 8, which gives you all the specifications, what you're supposed to do. It tells you if your house is back so many feet from the road, you can put a number at a certain area instead of having to put it on the house itself. This is something that's important, not so much for a fire call, because like I said, with the smoke and flames, we're going to find the house. But if it's something else, if it's a CO alarm, and you want us to come, unless most of the time the dispatchers will tell the people to leave the house. excuse me, leave the house. So if they're standing outside, we'll find them. But it's quite important to have your street number on. If you go down Federal Road, you'll see that there's a lot of buildings, including one of the local box stores, big box stores, that has no number on it. So it makes it a little more difficult to find.
Yeah. Well, I would hope that, the boards that are in charge would start taking some action and enforcing some of these things for the public safety.
Absolutely, it's a public safety thing.
That's all that it is, Well, we're going to wrap up our show now. Again, I'd like to thank our guest, Paul Garizio from Brookfield's Volunteer Fire Department, for appearing on the show. Thank you very much, Paul. I really
Bruce, I
appreciate
appreciate
your time.
Thank you.
I also want to remind our viewers on our air dates on Charter Channel 21 are Mondays at 4:30 and Thursdays at 7 p.m. We also post segments of our shows on YouTube, and they can be found at www.youtube.com/Brookfield Public Advo. We'd love to hear from you as well, and you can contact us at brookfieldpublicadvocate@yahoo.com. And if you could reach out to us, we'd love to hear comments about our shows, ideas, topics, people you might like to see on our show. Again, this is Bruce Senig for Brookfield's Public Advocate. Thank you for watching, and good night.